Now, the Bible also suggests that certain men do get more than one woman, though not every man can handle it, right? Nor can the women necessarily handle it either. It kind of has to be mutual, if you have more than one, right? Now, the reason Solomon had 300 wives and 700 concubines is because of his clout by the time he became King Israel. But other kings did too. Some had more, some had less. Again, some were even made eunuchs and stuff like that, right? So, right, it's different for every person, right? Hannah's husband had more than one wife, I know. Abraham may have, we're not exactly sure what went on there, but may have been with Hagar first and then Sarah. He got pregnant after. But the confusion comes in, right, when you don't consider the female. Each one had a firstborn son, right? And then it's up to the dad who he makes heir. That's a little different too, right? Now, like with Adam, after the fall, Cain was firstborn, then Abel, right? But then Seth, because Cain slew Abel, became his real heir, and that's the third son, right? Not the first, right? So that's why some people, want to force away, right? And say, well, it don't matter who the mom is, the dad got two women pregnant, right? No, it all depends on what, right? The dad, right? Though, like I said, I love all my children, right? Whether I know of you or not, right? But, problem is, I only remember being with 17 women, right? Specifically, right? And where they were at the time, like, which is between Georgia and Virginia up to Boston. Um, maybe a girl in Italy. Maybe a couple girls in Israel. Who had sex with me. And then again, the jealousy of men, though, is the problem if you get more than one, right? Some men don't understand that, but it's like, well, Chamberlain is rumored to have been without 10,000 women. Okay. And even though he's a dictator, Castro may have raped 35,000 women. Well, I don't rape, right? A woman can tell me no, yes, maybe, not right now, and I'll listen, right? But if a woman wants to be with me, right, that's up to her too. Now, if you won't understand what I mean, though, I can be with only one woman, only if you make me cheat on her, right? Again, could that happen, right? I don't try to cheat on my wife, right? I'm not taught to do that either, right? Right, both ways. But it's called monogamy when you're with one person, and polyamory when you're with more than one person. Now, even though Jacob himself and even Ishmael was rumored to have more than one wife, and so did Esau. Ishmael's son, maybe. And Jacob was Isaac's. Again, if the woman has two sons from two men, right, both are the firstborn son of each man, right? But again, only one is the heir of the son he conceived with her, not both, right? Another problem that can happen, right? Sometimes the woman can have fraternal twins. Now, identical twins is Tia and Tamara Mowry, for example. But the way I can tell them apart is one's skin pigment is a little bit lighter than the other, right? Tamara's is a little bit lighter than Tia's, right? And that's because of how their bodies were formed in the womb, right? Though they're identical twins, yes. But one's skin pigment is darker than the other a little bit. And one kind of has what we call moles, like these, right? And one don't. Right. And like I saw a picture with Tamara, and she has a few moles on her chest, for example. Tamara don't. I mean, Tia don't. Right? When dealing with him, Tia don't. And now with makeup, you can kind of cover it up, but I can still tell Tamara from Tia. Now I ain't seen Tia since she did a movie for a Christian audience a while back. But I see Tamara on the reel with Jenny and Miss Thing and some the kind of Hispanic mixed girl. I forgot her name, and then Lonnie Love from she was even did something on World's Dumbest. No, right. Again, things like that. Right. But see, a ghost, right, can't do any videos, right? They're in the spirit world, right? But we are spirits in the material world made flesh and blood, right? As Jesus was too, right? 2,000 years ago. Now, the problem is, if you let Satan take over the church itself, he can't, right? And it becomes the synagogue of Satan, as John pointed out in Revelations, and not the Church of Jesus Christ of anything. Because you're denying your humanity that you make mistakes, right? You're acting infallible when you're fallible. Now, what a true person of Jesus does is try to maintain normal behavior patterns during the day, right? And when you're asleep, you assume you're asleep until morning, right? Right? Things like that too, right? So that's kind of the point there. Now, you can't bring me, though, a woman, right? Her have sex with me and leave me and try to kill me over that like it's gay, right? It's not gay, right? Me even talking about it is a fantasy, though. That's what it's supposed to be, right? But if you are, then you're trying to get to me and I'm fighting you to the death, right? Which still means I want a woman, right? And you have a problem with that, not me, right? That makes you the one acting gay about it. Now, all I'll do is say, well, if you want to be gay, find you a gay male and be with him. Just not me. Just not me. I don't judge you for that, right? And the same is true. I know. With certain activities, right? I can't control what every man does. Now, some men even want to be pedophiles and sleep with children. I don't condone that behavior at all. I don't say you're supposed to do that at all. But because of how grace and mercy works, you cannot control the people who do that either. And yes, it's wrong, but still forgiveness of it is the way to help both parties repent of it, right? And not do it anymore. Not trying to punish them for it and hoping the punishment itself will stop them from doing it. Obviously, that way ain't working, right? Because it doesn't stop the lust in the person's heart to do that to a child, right? That's the problem there. They learn to do it by those who taught them to do it themselves, right? That's a learned behavior. No child is brought up trying to have sex with a child. Or raping a female while doing karate practice, right? To give her a black belt. People don't do that, Cliff, Yon. To a girl, either. Now, I'm basing that off of a movie, though. called Hell Camp, where a bunch of soldiers were sent to this camp, which was to train them how to deal with becoming a POW, a prisoner of war. Well, one of the members was female, and the commanding officer of the camp raped her. And I'm trying to make sure people don't do that to children either, right? Or anyone, right, anymore. Because that's a sick male mind, right? Now, rape, even if the woman is naked, like in A Clockwork Orange, is, not supposed to be done, even if the woman is standing naked right before you. Now, consent is where you ask her and she says yes to the sex, or no, and then you don't do nothing more. Right? That's what I'm trying to teach you as well. Now, the only reason females will want to have sex with me is they're curious if I can have sex after the fall and with the pelvic injury and sacrum injury and ankle injury, right? Which, like I said, right, it works. It works. I don't know if I got Maribel pregnant or Denise pregnant or Michelle pregnant or Molly pregnant. But those were the only 4 I've been with after the fall. But I've been with 13 before the fall. Right, at least. And that was between the car wreck and the fall as well. Now, like I told you, if I was attacked on base by someone, they're trying to use the mental illness and the possibility of the fall to cover it up. Possibly, because if you look at the x-ray, the left side looks more damaged than the right side. Now, I'm not saying they wouldn't totally try to damage me, but it's how the Lord healed it, right? And He healed it differently to make a point to those seeing it, right? So they tried to murder me, right? But it also put a seal on inside my body. When it healed it, it made sort of a teardrop looking shape. Well, in prison, if you murder someone, you can get a teardrop tattoo. But if you fall 3 stories and were attacked, they tried to murder you on base and were fellow sellers, right? So what does one mean if it's in your body as it healed? They can't murder you anymore? Maybe. That way. Okay, possible. Now, like I'm telling you about bullets, right? Since we're in the flesh, you can't necessarily stop them with a wave of the hand unless God just somehow puts some kind of invisible shield around you for real. And the shield is what really dissolves them, right? And what it does is, like in The Matrix when Keanu Reeves extended his hand playing Neo. Alright, what it does is the shield, dissolves the bullets, right? As they come towards you, right? Another way it can be done is as the bullet passes through you, because you can't see a bullet with the naked eye, right? You only hear the sound to know it was fired. No one can see the, bullet with the naked eye, right? Except the spirit, who knows you fired it in its velocity. Well, the spirit can travel faster than light, right? Because it is light. It's the light of life, that. And love. When you're not loving, though, you're following good and evil. You have a choice between good and loving or good and evil. Two Chinese. Yin and yang can be divided, too, into yin or yang, right? And, again, go back to yin and yang, right? as one or two. See, some philosophies take you so far, but not completely, explaining things, right? But even when you're yin in or yang, yin is still in you and yang is still in the female too, right? Whatever you want to call each gender, right? But we're also opposites, because opposites attract, but we're also from the same source, that being shadow and light, right? Now, even the spirit knows, we can do each other good and lovingly or good and evil, and one appears, because of the law to be good, right? But evil, all right, is where you get confused. What is truly good, right? What is truly wrong, right? But every morning I'm dealing with sleep in my eye, for example, and they're trying to make me think it's because of my weight. But I was this big for a while. This didn't happen until 2017, when I was talking about Amanda coming to Georgia and stuff like that. Jokingly, of course, right? Not saying I remember her coming or not, right? Either way. But whatever happened, I don't remember or recall. I just know I was blacking out a lot then too, right? Alright, so trying to help you understand things. But the second way is, as the bullet passes through your body heals around it, right? As it goes through, and it goes completely through. I know. Now, then the spirit would have to also change the thickness of it, right? In ways you don't understand, right? So it can pass through easily, right? Too. But if you're following the spirit and not the flesh, that's another problem. Satan tries to make you hard into a statue, as King David pointed out in the psalm, right? He says, they that make idols are like unto them, because you become like stone, right? In your heart and mind, right? The harder you become, the more the spirit is forced out of your body. You're doing what's called, what is that called? When you're kind of, it's kind of like rigor mortis, but not quite, I know. But you're becoming so stiff, right, that the spirit can no longer stay in your body. And this is because Satan in Ezekiel 31 drowned himself in the deep, which is another way to say water, right? Now, you also see that in the opening passage, the spirit hovered over the deep, right? And then it tells you waters, right? It goes down into the different things God recreated or replenished. Now, of course, it started however long ago in the beginning, right? God created the heavens and the earth, right? And the earth then too would have to be solidified, right? From the matter cast into the universe by what we in scientists call the Big Bang, right? Now, before the universe was empty, there was no matter, right? That means the spirit gave birth to the matter, right? To make the things in it. That's why this is also what happened in the celestial universe, right? Too. This is the terrestrial universe, the image we can see, and then there's the celestial, the one we can't anymore. And Jesus is trying to make heaven and earth one, which is also a metaphor for spirit and matter. And again, right? the celestial and the terrestrial one again, right? Because with the fall of Satan, we're no longer one with heaven and earth, right? We're of the earth and we're made earthy, right? As Paul pointed out in 1 Corinthians 15. So, again, right, the harder you are, the harder you fall, right? The softer you are, the more you're of the Spirit, right? In a way, too. See, I'm kind of hard and soft. Not too hard and not too soft, right? Either. I'm kind of in the middle, too, right? I'm trying to balance myself between being here and knowing of heaven, too, right? So that's what a true Christian has to do, is be balanced between heaven and earth, right? Because when you walk down the path, you got to stay in the middle. Now, the only times you might have to go to the left or to the right is if there's an obstacle that makes you move to the left or to the right. That's not unheard of either if you're traveling down a road, right? A path. So don't condemn yourself if you have to go to the left or to the right if you're trying to stay in the middle either. You're trying to make your way through life, your life's path, all right? And it's different for each human being. Like now I bought me a little Tai Chi book, because again, I'm not trying to kick your butt with Japanese hard style, and trying to learn a bit of softer styles too, Aikido, Tai Chi, right? To kind of not be solid or rigid, right? But kind of fluid and yet using the four elements: fire, earth, wind, and water, right? And then you have spirit on one end and then void on the other. Life or void, right? Which means death, right? So there are really 6 elements, right? The life force itself, then wind, the breath of life, fire, your heart starts beating, earth, water, your blood starts pumping, right? And then earth, your body starts moving, right? Until you either go to heaven with Jesus or you go to hell with Satan, right? Which is the void, right? So there's 2 elements you're leaving out, that, right? Yes, there are, right? The breath, wind, the fire, your heart beating, right? The water, your blood pumping through your body. The earth, the body itself. Understand? Bye-bye.